getting started on TikTok Shop, because what you see is people are skeptical at first, right? And then they jump onto the platform. They do a lot of random stuff, right? They try this because somebody on a podcast said to try it. They did this because somebody on YouTube, somebody here at an event said to do that, right? It's all very kind of frantic. It's all very kind of random.
Hey everyone, this is Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing TikTok Shop for Amazon sellers, and we're going to find out whether TikTok Shop is right for you, what are some of the mistakes people are making, and a 5-step framework to success. So stay tuned. Welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. All right, before we do anything, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, share the podcast, give us a thumbs up, and try to ring that bell. If you don't know what a bell is, just click the thing that says ring the bell. All right, our guest has been in the forefront of external marketing for Amazon sellers since 2017. In 2022, she explored TikTok's potential for boosting Amazon brands. And with the launch of TikTok Shop USA in 2023, she quickly leveraged it to scale brands beyond Amazon. Her expertise is recognized by Forbes, Business Insiders, and Inc., and she's a frequent expert in events like Titan, $1 Billion Seller Summit, Traffic and Conversion, and many others. So we'll be welcoming Michelle Barnum Smith in just a second, but first we're going to have a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Amazon, Walmart, and TikTok sellers, we're in Q4 and I know the pressure's on. So how do you rank higher and sell more during the busiest time of year? Well, as a certified Amazon partner agency, AMZ Rank has the expertise and proven strategies to take your projects to the top, driving visibility and sales across all platforms. With a proven expertise in optimizing search rankings, AMZ Rank guarantees your products stand out during this critical shopping season. You can email AMZ Rank today at hello@azrank.com. That's AZRANK.com. And don't forget to mention the Beard Guy sent you, and that's going to unlock an exclusive discount.
We can sit back, relax. You can grab a cup of coffee, enjoy the episode, and welcome Michelle. Hello. And I can't hear you at all.
That's because I had myself muted. That's why.
Oh, well, that sometimes is the issue. So haven't seen you forever.
I know. It's been at least 8 hours.
So. At least 8 hours. Michelle was just on the Marketing Misfits podcast. So I'm not sure when that episode is going to air. It's probably be 3 weeks or so. But anyways, yeah, we just did that yesterday.
But it's crazy how
you realize, like after we got off the podcast, I'm sitting there, we're I don't know if we're eating or we're watching the election, and that was, how much did we get into TikTok yesterday? We just talked about everything. Like we went down so many different rabbit holes. It was funny. But today we're gonna talk about TikTok. How's that?
Right. That's right.
Your spiel.
My spiel on
TikTok.
Well, I think, I don't think that TikTok Shop actually needs to be sold at this point. Like every seller at this point has probably heard of TikTok Shop, has probably seen some of the results that their friends are getting on TikTok Shop, and, are probably either trying to get on it themselves. And if they're not trying to get on it themselves, they probably have a reason why. Maybe they're an international seller, or maybe they're just not sure where to start or if it's right for them. So I'm hoping that we're able to kind of answer some of those questions today. And this is great that this is live. So if anybody has questions, feel free to put them in the comments. And I'm also happy to answer any kind of questions live as well.
Yeah, and don't be shy. A lot of the times, when I'm talking to people about being live, some people are a little shy. They're worried about, maybe asking a question that, is too simplistic. Oh, I'm going to be a newbie. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And, I can guarantee you that if somebody has a question and you're a newbie, there is a bunch of other people wishing somebody would ask that question. So, why don't we start right at the top? And, one of the first things that comes to mind is just TikTok Shop in general. Like, what is it right for Amazon sellers? Should they be considering going
Mhm.
over to TikTok Shop, or is
Yeah.
it just too hard?
No, absolutely not. So the opportunity for Amazon sellers, and this is coming from a place, guys, I've been doing marketing for 24 years, and marketing is one of those areas in business that's constantly changing. There's new tools, new tactics, new something all the time, right? And as business owners, it can become quite the place of distraction and shiny object syndrome. And you probably know this for yourself as business owners, that marketing is either something that you're drawn to or terrified of, and you're just like, I'm just going to outsource that to somebody else, that kind of attitude. So my approach as a marketing professional is very kind of anti-FOMO. I'm like, listen, there's a lot of noise in the space. There's lots of like, shiny objects. Let's create focus. Let's create, uh, like I'm not about to like introduce shiny objects to people unless I know that it's a legitimate opportunity. And especially in the Amazon space, there's a whole lot of, hey, try this, try that, do this, try that. And what you frequently see is that it works for somebody maybe once. And my response to that is always like, do it again. And if you can't do it again, it was luck, right? And what I've consistently seen with TikTok prior to TikTok Shop. So when we're talking just TikTok, driving TikTok traffic to Amazon in the form of maybe social media posts, influencer, paying influencers to post about your product, even ads from TikTok to Amazon. I tested all that with 30 brands. I was the VP of marketing for an Amazon aggregator for 24 months, and my role and responsibility was to test all the shiny objects. And TikTok was the biggest shiny object. All three of those things, like having a social presence for our brand, working with influencers, running ads, all of those things. And what we found is that it was consistently inconsistent. And with Amazon attribution being absolute garbage, it was 45% accurate at best, was that it was unscalable. That like driving traffic from off platform to platform, speaking about Amazon, was that it was nonsensical, basically. And so when TikTok Shop opened in September of 2023, so it's a little over a year old now here in the United States, and it was being beta tested before that in the spring. But when it became generally available, it actually closed all of those attribution loops that we were questioning before. Are our social media efforts resulting in anything? Are our influencer or creator efforts to use creator marketing resulting in anything? Are our ads resulting in anything? All of a sudden, because it was on platform to on platform, we were able to see exactly what was converting, the exact social media post that was hitting. We were able to see the exact content creator and their exact posts that were converting. It wasn't this question of like, we paid all this money and did anything happen from it? And then we were able to actually run ads to the content that was performing. And we've been able to replicate that process over and over and over and over and over again across so many brands. So at this point is the question of, is TikTok right and is TikTok Shop right for Amazon sellers? The answer is absolutely. There is no FOMO here. This is a legitimate opportunity. And the crazy part is that as Amazon sellers, you always look back at kind of the early years of Amazon with kind of this, nostalgic, awe of the things that you used to have access to, the opportunities that used to be so easy to take advantage of. And that's the situation right now with TikTok Shop. And so there's this urgency, as well to get on the platform. It's like, hey guys, there's things that you have access to right now with TikTok Shop that guaranteed are going to go away when the marketplace gets more crowded. So get on it now so that you can get that early start, that early adopter's advantage, and start testing it for your own brand.
So I've talked to a few people. It's much harder in Canada because it's really open for the US. But why are people having so much trouble trying to get onto the platform?
Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons for that. So you mentioned about international sellers first. So let's talk about international sellers. So right now, TikTok, I don't know if you guys know this, but TikTok's in a little bit of a political battle in the
What?
United States. On top of all the other current political battles in the United States, one that just happened yesterday, that we woke up to this morning. Congratulations if you're happy. I'm sorry if you're sad, wherever you fall along those lines. But yeah, there's kind of some politics at play. So currently, the reason why TikTok Shop is limited to United States sellers with United States contacts comes down to IRS requirements to be able to verify the identity of business owners. That's it. That's truly it. It's that it's an IRS, it's the new IRS requirements that are built around the Inform Act that were implemented earlier this year. And so what TikTok essentially is doing is saying, hey, we can verify the identities of sellers on the platform. Now, that being said, they are allowing Chinese sellers on the platform because TikTok is a Chinese owned entity. And ByteDance, the mother company of TikTok, can work with the Chinese government to identify the identities, to verify the identities of the Chinese sellers. And so they're able to get on the platform that way. And there's lots of other political discussions in place that are going on around trying to let friendly countries have easier access to the platform, like the UK, Canada, Australia, hoping that soon there's like a more straightforward answer to that question. But kind of like the short answer to the long question, the short answer to the short question of like, why, is because of the IRS requirements. Now, some workarounds with that there's a couple different workarounds. The first being that you have a US contact for your business. Somebody within the US, they don't have to, if you are an LLC, if that contact has, 25% beneficial owner status, then they need to be recognized by that. But they also don't need to have beneficial owner status to be able to use them. So if it's an employee, if it's somebody who is related to the business in some way or shape or form, they can be listed as a US contact. There's no tax liability for this person. I've received personal confirmation from TikTok Shop leadership about this, that if this person's social security number and identity verification documents are used, that there is no tax liability for that person. So that's good news. But for the sellers who don't have US contacts or don't have US employees, if you're a big seller, there's opportunities for you to get on the platform. So if you're over 7 figures and selling in the US, your inventory is in the US, you have a US business entity, not an external, not like a Canadian business entity that owns inventory in the United States. It has to be a US based entity, so an LLC or a corporation. Then there's opportunities for you to I guess bypass the social security or ITIN requirements and be able to get on the platform. So
very good. But I want to go down a completely different rabbit hole.
okay.
Just because I'm going to forget, but this goes to the Corporate Transparency Act. You just touched on it for a second. So if you're listening and you have a existing business, you've got until the end of December to register and get that information in, or it's a $500 a day penalty up to $10,000. And it's not if, it is when. So January 1st, the time will start ticking. And now, if you're a new company, you get 90 days. And if it's 91 days, you're out of compliance, and it'll be a $500 a day until $10,000. The other thing you have to know too is if you move or if you add anybody into the company, you've got to register with the government, or it will be a $500 a day fine penalty. So just kind of keep that in mind. I know this is TikTok Shop, but it's just one of those business things that so many sellers have no clue about. I asked a bunch of people when I was in the New York Innovate show. They had no clue that this was happening. So they should. Their accountant should be telling them about this. Who knows? They're probably going to HR Block. But well, I shouldn't say that. HR Block, you're a great company. But
sponsor Norm show.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about mistakes. So that's definitely one mistake if you don't register.
Yes,
but let's talk TikTok Shop mistakes. So what are some sellers doing right now that might not be kosher, or that they're just not doing? It's a big mistake.
Yeah, so I think the biggest mistake is that sellers are rushing onto the platform and assuming that it's another marketplace. To be clear, TikTok Shop is not a marketplace. It is social commerce. It's a completely game-changing new status in the e-commerce selling world. And most sellers are used to marketplaces, right? We come from Amazon, obviously the biggest. We've got Walmart.com. We've got Etsy, eBay, Target.com, right? These are all search-based marketplaces. And so how sellers and consumers interact is very different because it's a search-based platform. Somebody's already aware that they have a need, and then they are searching for a solution to that need. So how TikTok Shop is different from a social commerce perspective comes down to how consumers are interacting with TikTok. And that is, TikTok to them is a place where they come for entertainment and education and connection. That's their motivation in being there. And so the TikTok algorithm is so powerful. It's so good. And if you are not on TikTok, as a consumer, just as a person, I highly recommend you get on there so you can experience for yourself the power of the algorithm, how quickly it learns your interests, your demographics, feed it the insights or screw with it, whatever you want to do. But then the products that get served up to consumers are based on the algorithm. And we kind of talked about this yesterday a little with the Marketing Misfits podcast, but what Amazon serves you as like kind of custom products that show up when you go to the Amazon homepage is based on your previous searches. That's kind of the extent of it. What gets served to you on TikTok is so much more relevant because the algorithm really gets to know you based on the content that you interact with. And the more you interact with the platform, the more that the content gets served to you, the products and the content that gets served to you are that much more relevant. So you have to have that level of understanding as a seller when you're approaching the platform because it's a marketing platform. There's so many more opportunities to reach reach buyers in a way that is authentic and relevant to them. It's not just a show up and throw up kind of system where you set up your listing and turn on ads. That doesn't work. You need to identify kind of and create content around, because content is king on TikTok. That's how your products get discovered, is through content. It's not through search. I think search represents maybe 5% of sales at this point for most sellers. The rest is all from discovery, and discovery meaning somebody is scrolling on their app and in TikTok, and the average user uses TikTok for 95 minutes a day.
Yeah,
that's a lot of time.
My wife.
Yeah,
she is a super user.
She's a super adopter of TikTok. Excellent. And it's very typical for people to have it be, even if they're watching Netflix or watching, Prime or watching the election results, they're also scrolling on their device too at the same time. It's just kind of human nature at this point to have that.
I've made a bunch of TikTok videos when we were doing that influencer challenge last year. I hate saying this, but I'm going to let the cat out of the bag right now. I've never, ever watched a TikTok video.
At all? You haven't, like in all your posting, you never consumed?
Nope. I have never consumed one video.
Well, I urge you, especially while you're in the
I
US, and
know,
you
I
get
know.
geo-locked for the US to see what the algorithm starts to serve you and how, like, feed it.
That's
Give
what I'm
it.
afraid of. What is it going to serve me? Because, my mind goes in different directions.
Sure. And the algorithm really does work hard to kind of figure out what your preferences are and what you like and what you don't like. But I think
All it'll say is you're nuts,
It's powerful. And to that end, as a mother, I highly recommend that you do not allow your children access to TikTok until they are adults. So
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there because it is extremely manipulative in that regard. So as a consumer and as a mother, I'm very cautious. And as a marketer, I love it. So there you go. I'm myself a walking contradiction. Here I am.
So let's talk about the 3 different types of the creator. So we've got the influencer, the creator, and the affiliate. We touched on this during the Misfits podcast yesterday. Can you go through that just so and just define them so people don't get confused, because it is confusing?
Yeah. So I like to think of it as creator is the very first thing, and creators at the end of the day are entertainers. They're on the platform to entertain, to build an audience, to kind of showcase a lifestyle or or a personality kind of a thing. They make their money off of views and interactions. That's kind of like the bottom line. Very rarely are they selling anything. Very rarely are they monetizing brand deals, that kind of thing. That's not to say that they can't influence in certain ways, but that's not their primary intention. Their primary intention is entertainment. So those are creators. And influencers are people who their motivation is monetization through calls to action. And that can be through brand deals, that can be through affiliate relationships. But usually influencers at this point are basically synonymous with affiliates. And the opportunity with affiliates and specifically with TikTok Shop, like I said at the kind of beginning, because the loops are closed from a reporting standpoint, it's very easy for both affiliates and brands and sellers to be able to see if an influencer is actually driving revenue for them, and vice versa. It's really easy for influencers to be able to see if a brand or a product is making money. So there's kind of an effect that happens on the platform where someone will go viral, a product will go viral. And all of a sudden I call it the affiliate snowball. A brand will be like reaching out to affiliates in mass, maybe having a lot of samples going out, and they'll have 1 or 2 posts that really hit. And, from an organic standpoint, it starts selling. Well, other affiliates can see that hit happen, and they know that the product is trending, that the topic is trending, whatever it might be, and so they'll jump in and request samples as well, and it turns into this kind of affiliate snowball of organic growth for that brand and for that seller, because those loops are closed, and because affiliates can now see like, hey, this is something that I can monetize and I can jump on from that kind of perspective. Now there's different types of affiliates, and some are going to be okay with product for post relationships with, a commission-based structure. Some still might be like a pay for post plus sample plus commission kind of structure. But at this point, influencers within TikTok really are just affiliates. And that's the opportunity, is that it's a more joint venture relationship as opposed to this, pedestal style relationship of like, oh, you have so many followers, can I please work with you? What's cool about TikTok as well from a content perspective is that followers don't matter when it comes to virality potential. Every video on TikTok has the potential to go viral. It doesn't matter how many followers there are. So somebody who has 1,000 followers has just the same opportunity from an affiliate organic reach standpoint as somebody with 2 million followers, which is really such a breath of fresh air from a seller standpoint, because then we don't have to, like, we're not looking at this unattainable relationship with this, influencer with 2 million followers and being like, I can never work with them, and have success. I have to work with that level of creator to have success. No, you can work with somebody who's just getting started and still have the potential for success.
Yeah, that's so important. If you're trying to go out there and you're competing with somebody 2 million followers, I mean, why do it? But
Yeah.
TikTok Shop gives you the ability to do it. But I want to talk. It's getting close to the bottom of the hour, but just in brief, I've heard so many people say that it just wasn't their bag. Like they just didn't see the return.
Yeah.
And if you can explain that, because I hear the other side saying, "Oh, I can't live without it anymore," and then I've got the other side saying there's just no ROI.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it comes into the approach. So I've personally developed a 5-step framework for getting started on TikTok Shop, because what you see is people are skeptical at first, right? And then they jump onto the platform. They do a lot of random stuff, right? They try this because somebody on a podcast said to try it. They did this because somebody on YouTube, somebody here at an event said to do that, right? It's all very kind of frantic. It's all very kind of random. So I'm very structure oriented when it comes to marketing. I'm anti-FOMO and I'm super structured. So I'm like, this disciplined approach, do these things and you'll get results. And so my 5-step framework is, there's steps that you need to take to onboard successfully, to get set up, to make sure that your business is set up for success. Optimize, which is before you drive any traffic, you need to optimize your listings for the best results. And that looks like not only fixing your listing, but also how you price for TikTok Shop is super crucial. So I go into depth on what you need to do there. Then once you're optimized, then you start out with collaboration and content creation with and through collaborations. So that's when you're reaching out to affiliates and working with affiliates. What I see often, and then the 4th step is accelerate, which is advertising after you have content that's converting, not before. And then the 5th step is scale. So once you're starting to get this kind of feedback loop of creating of content that converts and ads accelerating that reach, then you can really scale in all the different kind of marketing channels that become unlocked as you start to grow on the platform. What I often see people do is they get on the platform, they skip crucial onboarding steps, they absolutely skip optimization, they jump to collaboration, have a trillion samples going out. I chatted with a seller 2 weeks ago who had over 200 samples go out, and probably like 150 pieces of content. $0 in sales. And he's like, and his product was very TikTokable, met all my 5 criteria for TikTokability. And I looked at his account. He's a good friend of mine. I was like, fix this, do that, change this, fix this, all things that if he has access to my course. So if he actually executed, he would have known. And the next day, 15 grand. And I'm like, see,
Coincidence?
Not quite. So these are some of the things that I see happen, is that kind of frantic, like the FOMO is overcome. People get on the platform and then they just bounce around, and there's no kind of step-by-step framework to follow. And let's be clear, TikTok is changing all the time. The algorithm is constantly adjusting. New features are popping up in TikTok Shop constantly. And so that's kind of like my job to stay on top of, but the framework still stands every single time. No matter what changes, strategies might adjust within that framework, but the framework is still the same process each time.
All right. Now we are at the bottom of the hour. And if you're new, it looks like there's a bunch of people. I don't know if they're new or not, but if you are new, we have something at the top of the hour called the Wheel of Kelsey. And
Ooh.
to get into the Wheel of Kelsey, which is an awesome prize, usually given by our guest, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey or tag two people, and you'll get a second entry. Now, we got a couple things going on. Well, first of all, let's do this. Michelle, what is the prize for the Wheel of Kelsey today?
Yes, the prize is access to my online course where I teach this 5-step framework. So we have like one lucky winner of the course today.
Perfect. All right. So that is if you want.
$1,000 value.
There we go. There we go. And the story that you just talked about, I had no idea before we were going to announce what you were doing, the story, but that was perfect tie-in, but got nothing because they did something wrong and just corrected a few different things and made it a $15,000 day just by correcting a certain thing. It's just like Amazon. You get a lot of people that go out there and they throw things up and they have no clue what they're doing. So if you're interested in the course, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. And yes, Simon, we love Kelsey. But it is the Wheel of Kelsey, hashtag, oh my God, tag two people and you'll get a second entry. The other thing we're going to do today, just for a bit of fun, over my shoulder, there is a white logo. It's a little out of focus and it's meant to be. Let me know what that is. Let me know what that logo is. And we'll give you a free book from Colin C. Campbell, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. So you can enter that. That'll be for the Wheel of Kelsey as well. And that's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. And just let us know that you're entering for this. And we'll give you a free book from Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. Also, questions. If you have any questions, we'll start taking them shortly. But now let's go to the a sponsor.
Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. I'm Colin C. Campbell, and I've started over a dozen multi-million-dollar companies in the last 30 years. I spent the last 10 years writing the book, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat, to figure out what it is that these serial entrepreneurs do over and over again. We interviewed over 200 people. We created 58 chapters, over 30 illustrations, 180 callouts, and we quite frankly made this book for the ADHD entrepreneur. It's been #1 on Amazon in 15 categories and has won 12 awards globally. Get your book today either on ebook, paperback, hardcover, or Audible on Amazon or your favorite bookstore.
Or enter. You'll get it for free. And by the way, I just wanted to let you know, Colin's probably one of the smartest entrepreneurs I know. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs. But Kevin and I right now are building a business. And we're using his book and his workbook to go through it. And I've written 20 business plans easy, but just being able to walk through exactly like he lays it out in the book makes it just so much easier. Plus, he uses AI, so he's got a bunch of QR codes that all you have to do is scan the QR code, and it gives you access just to a ton more information. So just check that out. And again, if you want to enter today, let me know what that it's mirrored image, wherever that logo is, and you'll get a copy. All right, now let's get back to it. And where did we leave off? I guess a fear for a lot of brands is just having to make your own content. You touched on it before.
Yeah.
But if you don't, there's so many creators out there that you can reach out to.
Right.
They're easy to reach out to, but is there a way, because this is another problem that comes up. The creator doesn't get back to the person. So they're trying to reach out and they're just not getting, the amount of people that they want. So first of all, what is a great way to reach out to a creator? And should sellers be nervous about this?
So nervous, no, but you have to have an expectation for realities when it comes to working with affiliates. And just kind of at this point, when we were first getting started on the platform, there wasn't a lot of noise, and now there's a lot of noise. So I have a lot of friends who are content creators, and their inboxes are scary places, just overwhelming amount of information in there, right? So it kind of becomes a numbers game. And so what I tell people is like, look, you need to think of this like dating. Okay. And you need to date a lot of people. And what happens too often is that sellers think like, oh, I'm just going to hire a content creator straight out the gate, and they're going to become like the brand ambassador for my business and produce content for my brand side. And that'll work. And it's like, date before you get married. The opportunity is to like have like a vast kind of quantity outreach game. There's lots of bots in the space to help you from an outreach perspective to get in front of 2,500 creators a day kind of a thing from an outreach perspective. Where you want to get picky though is in the sample request filtering process. So quantity first and then quality. You're not going to accept sample requests from everybody. And just live this week is the new refundable sample option as well, where you can set certain criteria that if a creator will buy your product and reach that criteria, either number of posts created or number of sales acquired through their specific post, that they then get a refund for that free sample. Essentially, it's a really great option. But either way, sample filtering and being picky in who you are sending those free samples to. And this comes back down to really understanding your brand, your target audience, and recognizing that you're trying to use this affiliate not just to create content that represents your brand and your product, but also, do they have your target audience, the ideal audience for your brand? So it's not just enough just to like do a sweeping kind of acceptance of anybody who requests a sample from you, but to be a little picky and to filter. Now, if you're just getting started, maybe your filters are not quite as high. Maybe you're doing a little bit more testing up front. But after a period of time, you're going to be a little bit more specific in who you accept sample requests from. And not every piece of content is going to hit. So you have to understand that if you are doing at least 100 samples and getting maybe 80 to 50 videos, completed videos out of that, maybe 10% of those videos are actually going to, convert and accomplish something. Once you have content from creators who actually can produce content, those creators are going to see like, hey, this product, my audience is responsive to it. I can make sales from it. They're likely to create more content around your product again and to want to work with your brand again. So that's when I call it like, let the cream rise to the top, from dating to maybe engaged, right? Then you invite those people to be kind of like a brand ambassador for the month, where you raise their commission level on any sales that they produce. Or maybe you run a specific sale or a specific promo code through them and deepen that relationship with them. So it's kind of this process, right? Like I've talked about, it's instead of being frantic and doing all these things, I also see people not reach out to enough people and be like, well, I've got 5 videos coming in and nothing's happening. I'm like, you need a lot more than that. You gotta feed the algorithm. You gotta test the algorithm and see like what kinds of things are going to hit. Also, what I see a lot of people make mistakes on is that they expect the creators to be creative. So what I mean by that is that they're like, well, I don't, as sellers, I don't know how to create a video that converts. So I'm just going to trust the creator to do their best. And they don't provide the creator any guidance. It's really important to give the creator creative briefs. Once again, I have creator friends. I see how many sample requests that they get, not only in their inboxes, but also that arrive at their front door, boxes and boxes and boxes of product that gets sent to them. And TikTok holds them accountable for actually creating content. They have 14 days to create content from the time their sample is received. And because the loop is closed, TikTok knows when that sample was approved, when the order was shipped, and when the order arrived. So that TikTok creator is held accountable by TikTok to actually produce the content. So what happens is that sellers are thinking like, these creators are creative and they'll figure out how to produce a video for my brand in the best way possible. Not the case. You need to educate the creator on how to represent your brand. Like, open it in this way, talk about these features in this way, start with this hook, these kinds of ideas. And if you're not sure what to do and what to talk about, I talk about that in my course, but there's also a ton of resources in TikTok Ads Creative Center where you can see converting content. You can also use tools like viralytic.com, FastMoss, Callow Data, and see what the high converting videos are for your category on a weekly basis. So you can see, okay, these are the highest sales producing content on TikTok right now, and what kind of script is being used, both the words that are being said, the things that are being seen. This is a video content platform. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed, just trust that you don't have to create this like massive creative brief. Creators don't have time to read those anyways. I just tell people bullet points and say, open it this way, say these things, talk about these features. These are the key features, and use this kind of call to action. Here's 3 different kind of call to action options for you. And those call to actions are meant not just to, be buy now oriented. Sometimes it's like, hey, there's new deals running all the time. This is on flash sale, but we know TikTok has discounts running right now. Check your discounts. Click over here and check your discounts because your price might be better than mine. Those types of things. Things that like seed people to take action outside of just the standard buy now, available today, like those kinds of things.
And probably my last question, then we'll get into a bunch of these other questions. When should a seller use TikTok ads, or should they?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's kind of there's 3 different types of TikTok ads. There's product, they're product shopping ads. They're called PSAs. Product shopping ads are what I call PPC light. And basically they are just, ads for your product listing, no content creation required. It's just ads for your listing based off of your creative. And it just shows up in search results. So that's why I call it PPC light. It just takes kind of the keywords that are already in your listing and shows your listing, around the shop areas. And those are relatively cheap to run. I think like $10 a day. And once you get your listing up and live, I think it's a great type of ad to turn on. But I would not turn on the next type of ad, which are called video shopping ads, until you have content that converts. So previously, if you're doing Meta ads or even TikTok to Amazon ads, people would create a whole bunch of, sellers would create a whole bunch of different types of content and then put ad dollars behind it to test and see what's working, what's not working. And people still do that. That still is fine if they have the budget to spend on it. But I don't like that. I want to see what kind of content is actually converting and then put my dollars behind that. And that's why I call it, that step, the accelerate step, because you already have, you're already getting results. Even just a handful of sales is enough to tell you like, okay, I know this content converts. Now let's get it in front of more people. And you can get what's called spark codes from the creators themselves. That's always something that you want to ask for. If you're giving somebody a sample, you want that spark code so that you can help accelerate the reach of those ads, right? So I like to hold back on ads until I have creative content that's converting.
All right, very good. All right, Kels, let's get into some of these questions.
All right. So we do have quite a few questions coming in. Let's see, from Simon. I loaded my catalog and have made 5 sales, no ads, no content, just one influencer. Does this signal there's potential if I create content and add more influencers?
Yeah, absolutely. So anytime somebody tells me like, hey, I just got on the platform and I made sales without even trying, I'm like, congratulations. Now go do these steps and it should just like fly for you. So that's a good sign. Absolutely.
This is a person that needs your course.
Well, they all need my course, but this one is like you're making sales by just showing up. Like, awesome.
Yeah, and Simon's got an awesome product.
Yeah.
And it's a higher end product, so or a higher priced product. So yeah, that'll work out really well for him.
All right, so that goes into our second question from Trevor. Can you expect much success on expensive products? How does that change your approach?
Yeah, so this is a really great question. So I have a training that I give that I like to give called the 5 Keys to TikTokability. And this is all about kind of like how you look at your products, just like on Amazon, you do product validation before you invest in selling a product. I recommend the same kind of validation that you do for your products before selling them on TikTok. And one of those kind of filters is price. And this comes down to how buyers buy on the platform. And that is, once again, they're discovering, they're being entertained, they're scrolling till their eyes bleed. And if they see a product and it's like, I got to have that, you want to lower that barrier to impulse, right? That need is an emotion, right? You think about when you're watching TV and you're hungry and like the pizza commercial comes on with the stretchy cheese and the bubbling pepperoni. That is a visceral need that has to be satisfied right in that moment. And if they say, get it now for $5.99 and we'll bring it to your house, you're like, abso-freaking-lutely, and you're calling that number, downloading the app, whatever you have to do. So product price for impulse buying is really critical. And usually that's less than $50. Now, everything is within context though. So if this expensive product is expensive among its peers, then you have more of an opportunity to do some maybe creating content about how it's different. So can you sell expensive products? Yes, but how you approach the content and the selling of that product to justify its price point is really critical. Also, you need to build into your pricing the ability to offer free shipping, running flash sales, offering coupons. I call those the 3 C's to conversion. And you need to have all 3 of those on your listing to maximize your ability to convert. So when you're pricing your product for TikTok, I always recommend that retail price, you think of it as a fluid price point and you price it as high as you can, I guess, because you're going to be adding all of these discounts and things to it to appear more attractive.
Okay. Oh, you know what? That just brings up a point. You were talking about ooey gooey cheese. Remember last night we were talking with Kevin was on the podcast and we were talking about chilies.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about? You remember what he was saying about that one viral video that's out there?
Yeah. So Chili's has these mozzarella sticks. They're like really long and flat, but they have extreme cheese pull to them. And a creator on TikTok, basically was singing the praises of the cheese pull and these mozzarella sticks. And the video went viral. The next day, Chili's had like sales increased by like 40% nationwide.
40%. Yeah.
Yeah. Just from a cheese pull. And we were talking about, I think the context is it's really hard for big brands to be able to create content for TikTok because what converts on TikTok is authenticity. And it's really hard for big brands to show up and be authentic on the platform because of all the legal involved and, just all the red tape that corporations have. But I was like, Chili's could like ride this gravy train, literally host TikTok lives at their locations. Like, hey, come try a cheese pull on our TikTok lives. Like there's ways that they could lean into the movement around the cheese pull.
The cheese pull movement. Yep.
Yeah, doing all sorts of things to leverage.
It's funny because that creator just did it for fun. It wasn't even a paid gig.
Yeah, you're all fuzzy, Kevin, and more so.
Oh, here I am. Okay, it's this camera.
I think I've gotten about 10 or 20 of those cheese pull videos from different creators all
Oh,
testing
yeah?
out. Yeah, it was
Does
all
it
over my
does it make
FYP.
you want to go get some, Kelsey?
Absolutely. They look so good. And it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a platter too. I could do an ad for Chili's if I wanted to. Like it's great. We got another question from Kareem. Hello, I'm working for a client who is working on homemade in the homemade category, gold jewelry. And in TikTok shop, there's no homemade category, and TikTok is asking for category qualification certificates, but I don't have any certificates. Is there any other option to sell my product on TikTok?
Yeah. So this is one of the things that I want to make sure that you guys do before you jump on the platform. And that is to review the prohibited product and the restricted product categories, because I don't want you to do all of the work to get on the platform, especially if you're an international seller, just to not be able to sell your product. Right. And just because you can sell a product on Amazon or Etsy or your own website does not mean that you can sell it on TikTok. There are regulations, and gold is one of those categories that is restricted. If it is, fashion, fast fashion jewelry, none of the products that I wear are solid gold. I don't buy expensive jewelry besides my wedding ring. But yeah, gold and fine jewelry is a restricted category. So that's why they're asking for certifications. And if you don't have those certifications, then you're probably not likely to be able to sell in that category.
Does this fine jewelry, cheap jewelry, if I put my wife's wedding ring in a McNugget box, is that cheap or is that still fine jewelry?
Is this how you propose to her?
I did. I proposed at McDonald's. I asked her if she wanted McChicken, McFries, or McMarried.
Oh, that's cute. That is
And
cute.
we had all these
To be
16-year-olds
warned,
around the corner, and
I had a friend who he and his wife loved Wendy's Frosties, and he
yeah.
proposed to his wife by putting the wedding ring in her Frosty. Well, she got to the bottom of the Frosty and never got to the wedding ring. He was waiting for her to bite into it or notice it in her mouth. So they had to wait for, they had to go to the emergency room, and there it was in her stomach.
Oh no.
And so they had to wait for it to evacuate before he could propose.
Oh, that's
So
a
be
pretty
careful with
crappy
that.
engagement.
It definitely makes for an exciting engagement story, though.
Oh man. All right, Kel.
All right. Another good question from Trevor. Can you reuse content from creators on other platforms?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Yes, technically. However, you need to be careful of, it's somebody's intellectual property. If you are paying that content creator for that content, yeah, Trevor. If you're paying that creator for the content, then you can work into any kind of brand deal, the stipulations that, hey, this is going to be used on other platforms, and they might negotiate with you like a higher cost for those. I wouldn't just use the content with the expectation and of posting it other places. A couple of things you do have to be aware of that now, like Meta specifically, if it has like a TikTok watermark on it, that post will get banned. Your account could get suspended.
Right.
So like Instagram or Facebook, if you're,
And there's apps out there that'll just wipe out that watermark.
yeah. So it's just something to be kind of aware of, that you can't just hit the share button from TikTok to Instagram. You do have to go through a unique downloading process or website to be able to strip it of any kind of watermarks. Also, just when it comes to the use of reuse content in general, TikTok is all about original content. So even if you have organic content that you've produced, maybe from at the brand level, or even have creator content that is hitting organically, you cannot repost that again on the platform. So let's say that you have creator content that's hitting, you want to download that and post that to your brand page. You'll get your TikTok account suspended. You could get your shop account suspended. So original content, you have to be so careful about how you do that. You can repost it to your brand page, but you cannot download it and then re-upload it. It has to be fresh. And I've even seen creators, brand pages who have lots of performing content. And obviously content creation is such a beast. It's a heavy burden to bear to constantly be creating content. I understand that. But even taking existing content, slicing and dicing it, putting different captions, putting different video music on the background, things like that, to try to make it more original in some way. I've seen so many violations occur from that. And honestly, I don't know that it's worth the risk.
And that includes going to Join Brands or Billo, getting a TikTok shop video when the creator posts it, even though you have that downloadable option to download your content, that is not your content if the creator posted it before you. So yeah, we've ran into that same issue where videos being suspended and accounts getting penalized. So
you could take that Join Brands content, and post it to other platforms. That's fine, as long as the creator hasn't previously posted it on their Instagram or their other meta properties. You could post it to Amazon. Just be careful. It's one of those IP. The world of IP, intellectual property, is this kind of murky landscape, and I don't want anybody getting sued or their account suspended.
All right. And we got another question from Steve. What is the minimum price for a product that you think would work on TikTok?
Minimum price. Man, I see products sold for $1.99. I see products sold for $4.99. I think what's critical to understand is how free shipping plays into the business model. 65% of consumers will not buy a product unless free shipping is included. And currently the TikTok shipping model, if the products are in FBT, fulfilled by TikTok, it's now their fulfillment service. If the products are in FBT, then they can qualify for TikTok's free shipping program, which is basically spend $30 on TikTok shop FBT related products and get free shipping. Or buyers can buy $30 worth of a seller's products to qualify for free shipping. Now, I like to tell sellers, you just figure out what pricing model you need to, what price your product needs to be, so that you can just flat include free shipping for your product. If your product is higher than $30, great, you already qualify. That purchase already qualifies. But this is one of the things, the huge mistakes that I see happen all the time. That is just such a simple fix. I see sellers offering their products for $29.99. And they think that they're being clever. And what they are is pissing off their customers, because then their customers do not qualify for free shipping because of a penny.
Yeah.
I'm like, raise that price 1 penny, seller, and then your customers qualify for free shipping, or just apply free shipping.
$34.99.
Yeah, exactly. So just something to be aware of as you are pricing your products. Be aware of the co-funded shipping program from TikTok and kind of the thresholds that have to be met there.
All right. And our last question from Trevor. Do prices on TikTok affect the price health on Amazon?
They do not. Nope. Nor do they affect it on Walmart.com. I've heard this and seen this question a million times. There's no map pricing management going on between Amazon and TikTok Shop.
All right. It looks like Simon just posted something.
All right, hang on. Can you unpack that point about content? If I have a video I created 5 years ago and published elsewhere, I can't post on TikTok?
Was it previously on TikTok, or was it just somewhere else? If it was previously on TikTok, there's a potential you can try. If it's that long ago, well, I mean, TikTok, are we at 5 years for TikTok? Yeah, it started in 2019. It took off in 2020 during COVID. You can try old content, but if it was on another platform, yes, you can post it on TikTok. But what we're saying to qualify is content that previously was on TikTok cannot just be re-uploaded because it's previously existed.
And I think specifically it's shoppable videos too, right?
Not just shoppable videos, any kind of content.
Okay, so I think that's it for questions. Thank you,
Good
everyone.
questions, guys.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're getting to that point. If you're looking to get into the Wheel of Kelsey, make sure you hashtag Wheel of Kelsey or tag 2 people and you'll get a second entry. I just saw Marina did. And let's get a bit more information, your contact information. If they don't win today, how do they get the course?
Well,
So tell us a little bit more.
That's right. I believe everybody can be winners in this space. So I do have a free giveaway for everyone, which is the first module of my course, which is the validation training. So anybody who's feeling that TikTok Shop FOMO, or maybe you jumped on the platform, but you're still not right, that it's really right for you, I recommend going through my validation training where you can discover your most TikTokable products. There I go over my 5 keys to TikTokability, as well as how you can do product validation both on TikTok Shop as well as using other kind of software tools to gauge the opportunity for your brand. So all you have to do is go to that link that we're showing here now. We'll also include that in the show notes where you can get access to that training. And that's available to anyone.
So that's what is it? Kelsey, just a sec. ttshopsellers.com/free training. And you'll see it in the comments as well.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So now I think it's time to flip over to a commercial and then over to the wheel.
Need more than just storage for your products? Honu 3PL's new warehouse in Pennsylvania offers 3,500 pallet capacity and a full range of services from complex kitting and order fulfillment to FBA prep and returns management. Honu also specializes in tariff reduction to help boost your bottom line. Sign up this month and get a $250 bonus. Now, to claim that bonus, all you have to do is visit honu3pl.com today to get started.
All right, let's go to the wheel.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right, there's a bunch of people that want to try to get this course.
All right. So if you are the winner, please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com to receive your prize. And let's see who the winner is.
You said it was about $1,000 prize, wasn't it, Michelle?
That's right.
Oh, look at Simon. Of course.
All right. Congratulations, Simon. Again,
Congratulations, Simon. I look forward to seeing you in the course.
Yeah. Email me k@lunchwithnorm.com to get your prize, and congratulations.
So how did he pay you off, Kels? It was beer or money?
He's got my PayPal account.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, congratulations, Simon. And thank you so much for putting up with me for the last 2 days.
Oh my goodness. It's my pleasure, as if I could. And guys, just so you know, my husband is like heavily bearded. So every time I spend time with Norm, I just feel like I'm looking into my future. So
Yeah. It just matter. Your husband with gray hair and no hair. There you go. That's enough to scare you.
Oh, that's awesome.
All
Thanks
right. Well, thank you so much for being on. And if anybody wants that course, just follow that link to ttshopsellers.com and you can pick it up there, or the free training for the first module. And thank you.
Thank you. And we will have a discount code that we'll be sharing after this in the show notes. We weren't able to get it set up in time, but it will be just Norm, and it'll give you guys 50% off the course as well. So once it goes live, it should be live tomorrow on the 7th.
Very good. Okay, Michelle, we will see you later.
Want more great information? Don't forget to subscribe by clicking here. Also, if you want to check out our latest podcast, click over here.
Lunch with Norm.